I have proof right here that British and American citizens are being paid and co-opted by the Chinese government to do propaganda. In fact, China even tried to pay me to put out misinformation and propaganda, which I have proof of too.
White-tailed deer are very common in North America, and they have been living with the SARS-CoV-2 virus. That is to say, as early as December 2019, the virus had already existed in the bodies of those white-tailed deer.
And I have this proof because the Chinese government is sloppy. And when it comes to their intelligence and when it comes to their propaganda efforts and the agents that they hire to try and put this out, they're just sloppy. I've been sent emails that were supposed to be sent to other people. And actually, myself and my business partner, Lau86, have been sent a request to do propaganda for the Chinese government. So I'm just going to jump right into it. I'm going to read from some emails that we received to our business account. That's the business that myself and Lau86 run together. Okay, so here we go from a guy called Joe. He says, "Hi, I am John from a Chinese media company. Now we are hiring some YouTuber to broadcast some content about Chinese politics. We can pay you a fair price for that. Are you interested? I can send you some samples for reference. Regards, John." So of course, what do you think we say? Absolutely, please send over some examples and a proposal, because we want to know what's going on here. Guy says, "Hi, Churchill, below is the sample." And he linked a Baidu Cloud file. So, Baidu Cloud's just like iCloud or sort of any one of these things, but the Chinese equivalent. So he sent a link to a video. Now, guess who's in the video? None other than King Ramses II, a very well-known collaborator and shill for the Chinese government. This is a genocide denier. This guy has been paid by the government and Huawei to do all sorts of materials in the past. He's even made these cringeworthy, misleading COVID medicine adverts. This guy's a real piece of work and he's a sellout. He'll sell his soul for a penny, this guy.
They've also proven very effective to treat COVID-19.
Showed that in the treatment of COVID-19, symptoms were reduced by over 90%.
So there you have it. That's exactly why you should be picking up Lianhua Qingwen capsules to stay safe.
He's done knockoff video game console stuff, anything that comes his way. But what's very important is the content of the video they sent. This was their example, and it was dealing with Xinjiang cotton. As we all know, there was a whole big hoo-ha about the forced labor and the cotton picking over there. But the thing that really tipped me off and piqued my interest was the fact that I'd seen other videos almost exactly like this one by other influencers who talk about China and spread Chinese propaganda and things like that.
Today we're going to talk about a really hot topic at the moment.
Now, Xinjiang has been a hot topic.
Xinjiang and its cotton.
And I want to welcome you back to a very special episode dedicated to the cotton industry in the province of Xinjiang, China.
But I mean, almost to a T. And this is very relevant because the person you're seeing now in this video is someone else that have now got rock-solid proof has also accepted money from the Chinese government. Before we move on, I really just want to go back to the fact that this guy tried to sell, and this is meant for a domestic Chinese audience, of course, an unproven traditional Chinese cold medicine as a cure for COVID. You really have to have incredibly low morals to try and sell something that could really negatively affect people's health. Let me show you how to do a real advert, something that's not going to hurt people. Using the internet these days without a VPN is kind of like trying to start your car without fuel in the tank. Today's video is sponsored by NordVPN, and there's a good reason for this. I actually use it. With massive revelations weekly coming out about how insecure the internet actually is. I mean, look at the whole China telecom scandal, the data mining. Look at the PAX point-of-sale system thing that's just been uncovered. The FBI raided their offices. These are, different angles that you don't think about in everyday life. Having a VPN is that added level of security that can give you some peace of mind. Take control of your internet experience today with NordVPN. Right now, you can get a 2-year plan at a huge discount plus 1 additional month for free when you go to nordvpn.com/serpentza. And it's not just about security either. There are other benefits to using a VPN. Have you ever tried to watch a show on Netflix or any streaming service and it tells you, sorry, it's not available in this territory? Well, guess what? Use a VPN and you can watch it. You just need to say you're in a different territory. These kind of workarounds are very, very useful, especially when certain shows get retired in certain countries. You're looking to watch a series that is no longer available in your country, but it was? Guess what? Just set yourself to a country where it's still available and go and watch the show. And don't worry, it's completely risk-free. You don't like it, within 30 days you get your money back. That's nordvpn.com/serpentsaday. Click the link in the description below. And now, back to the video. It's not a big surprise for me to find out that he's being paid to do the videos on his channel. And we're going to get into that in a minute because you'll actually see that he's not the only one and the topics that he covers are somehow identical to the topics that other people are being paid are covering too. It makes sense, right? So the guy goes ahead and says, "We will provide you a new theme very soon and need to create according to our theme. Please give me your quote." So we just say thank you, looking forward to, cooperation, etc., etc. And he says, okay, keep in touch. After a very long time, we asked again, any feedback? Looking forward to hearing from you. And then he said, we just finished national holiday. They will feedback soon. Okay, thank you. Any news? And that's it. That was it. We didn't hear from that guy again. But they slipped up again. And this time it was a different company. And it started out very innocent. And this, by the way, is how they trap a lot of YouTubers and a lot of Instagrammers and influencers in, is we got an email from a completely different person, okay? This was from a guy called Joey, and he says, hey, we are from Hong Kong Pear Technology, and we are currently searching for KOLs or potential business cooperation. We may need you to promote Hainan China tourist attractions on your YouTube channel or other social media platforms to attract more people to travel there. Now, this is kind of common. We've seen this a lot, specifically Hainan, the Hawaii of China, does these things all the time where they get a bunch of foreign influencers to go there and kind of make fluff pieces about tourism and stuff. Nothing wrong with that, but it's always the start of something. You usually find that people that end up doing these little promotional touristy type things get co-opted into doing government propaganda, either willingly or unwittingly. Anyway, the fact of the matter is, he says, and this is kind of the funny part, is the content you need to post will mainly focus on the promotion of the scenery of Hainan. You do not actually need to go there, as we do have our own video material. So in other words, you can just lie about it and, we'll give you the material. Anyway, it's the usual kind of stuff. Now, the interesting thing about this particular email is that the guy, he just sent it, he didn't BCC anyone, he just CC'd it to everyone. So you can see every single person in the mailing list, okay, all of their email addresses. And lo and behold, in this mailing list, we also see some of the well-known shills, including Jason Lightfoot living in China, who does these kind of promotional type things all the time. But nothing wrong with these promotional videos, right? Well, guess what? It gets worse. This guy gets back to us, because we string him along, of course, and say, yeah, sure, let us know, He says, the Hainan marketing company might need to go through a long reviewing process by the government. Therefore, we haven't got any news from them either. Meanwhile, I'm representing another client wanting KOLs to promote COVID-related informative video. Okay. You could check it out if you're interested. I've attached the video demo in this mail. So he attaches this video about COVID. I'm going to play you a little clip of that quickly.
Indicated that 1/3 of the wild white-tailed deer living in the northeastern US have antibodies against SARS-CoV-2, showing that they have been infected with SARS-CoV-2 virus. White-tailed deer are very common in North America, and they have been living with the SARS-CoV-2 virus. That is to say, as early as December 2019, the virus had already existed in the bodies of those white-tailed deer. If it was people that transmitted the virus to this white-tailed deer, it means that as early as December 2019, the coronavirus had already existed in those people who had close contact with those white-tailed deer. If it was not due to people, it could be said that before December 2019, the SARS-CoV-2 strain had already existed and been transmitted to the white-tailed deer.
Now, as you can see, that is just a straightforward misinformation video about COVID. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's so badly put together with that computer voice and all that stuff. Who on earth would be motivated to spread something around like this other than the Chinese government? No one else stands to gain anything from a video like this other than the Chinese government? Let's be honest. So anyway, we string him along and say, oh, well, surely, it should be edited up. Is that just a sample? Does it need to be changed or anything? He's like, no. He actually says the client wants it like that. That's the way the video has to be. And we asked him how much. So this is what he said. Our client has contacted me again, and they only want the YouTubers to post the COVID origins video individually. So they just want us to put that video on our channel, just as is. We could offer $2,000, totally negotiable considering this type of content. Let me know if you're interested. So the fact that he says it's negotiable means that, yeah, we could definitely get more. But still, $2,000 is a lot. And I can understand a lot of people falling for this and saying, hey, you know what? I could use the money. I just post this video on my channel. Anyway, you see where this is going. Let's ratchet this up a notch. Let's talk about Chinese state media. Okay, so we're no longer dealing with these agents because these agents are obviously working on behalf of the Chinese government, but it's very easy for them to kind of hide where they're getting their information. They just say my client. So, you can't really pinpoint it and say it's definitely this or definitely that, but it obviously is at the end of the day. Who else would want to promote the certain parts of China other than the tourism boards or the governments of those specific areas? Who else would want to pay for and promote these COVID conspiracy, misinformation, origin things other than the Chinese government, because they're the only ones who stand to gain anything from that. Here's the thing though, CGTN, which is CCTV, which is Chinese state media, which is linked directly to the Chinese Communist Party. Let's see what they have to say. Now, before I continue, by the way, I got to tell you how I came across these emails. These specific emails were not sent to me or to our business address. These emails were sent in error to somebody that we know in China. You see, right now, all China-based YouTubers are getting bombarded by requests from Chinese state media, CGTN and all the other big ones, who want them to represent China on state media. So either they want to use their materials, or they want to interview them, or they want to co-opt them, take them on these trips around China to show off Chinese propaganda, that kind of thing. We've seen it a lot. We've seen it with, the vegetable dancers in the past. We've seen it with the whole Xinjiang genocide theme park tour that they did over in Xinjiang with all these immoral YouTubers and stuff. But here we go. This email, by the way, I've been given complete permission from the person who received these emails to share them. But in all fairness, I am going to blank out individual email addresses and some of the details, except for one name, because it's very important and it ties everything together. Starts out, this email, I'm not going to say who it was sent from, but it was sent from someone at cgtn.com. And they say, hi, Cyrus Jansen. Cyrus Jansen, for those of you who don't know, is another one of these YouTubers who works for the Chinese government, who constantly puts out pro-CCP propaganda on his channel and constantly attacks the West. And strangely enough, was very instrumental in covering the Meng Wanzhou case, which I think this is going to explain why. Hi, Cyrus Jansen. I am XYZ for CGTN. Really nice to meet you. We find that you have published a video titled, Americans Don't Understand the Truth About China. It is really good. Would you like to permit CGTN to publish it again and let more audience watch the video and know you? Thanks so much. The published platform will include CGTN's official website and social platform like Weibo, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. So after a bit of back and forth, this is how it continues. Hi, Cyrus Jansen. I've talked with my leader today since we really want to publish the video titled Americans Don't Understand the Truth About China. So how about we pay you XXXX US dollars for this video? If you permit it, we will publish it on CGTN's official website and YouTube first and credit your name in the video. After you publish the video on Chinese social media platforms, then we publish it. Looking forward to your reply. So after being offered money, Cyrus gets back to CGTN and says, my apologies for the late reply. I've been so busy, blah, 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 blah. Thank you for the offer to use the video. I'm happy to accept your offer to post it on your website and still give me the copyright. Also, you can publish it on the CGTN YouTube channel after I publish it to my social media. As far as payment, I would prefer to accept RMB instead. Is that okay with you? Thank you, Cyrus. That's a bit odd to want to accept money in a foreign currency. I wonder what the deal is with that. Maybe he doesn't want it to be traced that he's being paid by the Chinese government. I don't know. Take your pick, but that's a little strange. I'm just saying. So they get back to him and they say, thanks so much for permitting CGTN to publish your video. At present, since we will subtitle the video in both English and Chinese, so could you please send us a clear version? Clear version means a video without subtitle, background music, name tags, etc. And you can tell me the date of publishing the video on Chinese platforms, then we can decide a date for CGTN publishing. About the payment, to be honest, it will be easier to pay the video through PayPal or some other foreign bank account. But if it is not convenient for you, we can transfer the money to a Chinese company's bank account. So, do your team has a company in China? About the price, we can pay you XYZ RMB for your video. Is that okay for you? Looking forward to your reply. Thanks so much. So he gets back, he says, hello, sounds good. Can you send it to via PayPal, then to my email? And he puts his PayPal address, which is strangely enough a PGA.com email address. And it's because he's tied to the Chinese PGA affiliation, something there is like a manager or something for the PGA in China before he became a full-on agent basically for the Chinese state. He says also, can you select friends and family when sending so it doesn't charge me the massive service fee? Enclosed is the video for your reference, and he's given them the video. Now, of course, there's proof that this is real. This was a couple of months ago, and here's his video on CGTN, the one that they requested right then and there, the one that they paid him for. Now, one thing that I found very, very interesting is that this particular guy, Cyrus Janssen, who has been doing this propaganda for the Chinese government for quite some time now, if you look at his video titles and the video titles of Barrett, the guy when in the beginning we were given that sample, remember the Chinese agent that wanted us to do propaganda and political talking points? He used Barrett as an example. If you look, both channels have very similar titles, if not the exact same titles on certain videos. This makes me put two and two together. They're both being paid to do these specific topics. They are being given topics to cover, just like they offered to give me topics to cover and pay me for it. These guys, as we can see from the emails and the fact that they've accepted payments, etc., are getting money from the Chinese government in one way or another to cover specific topics. But it's not just them. All the usual suspects when it comes to the China shill sphere. These guys, for those of you who aren't familiar, are the unfortunate YouTubers and influencers who have decided to accept the money of the CCP in order to go out there and spread Chinese propaganda and also denigrate the West. There's a whole list of them. I'm not going to get into all of them, but if you look at their video titles, very often they're almost the same or similar, and they cover the same topics at the same time. I mean, sometimes it's got to be coincidence, right? But now that we have this paper trail that shows that they've been paid by the Chinese government and also being told to cover certain topics, shows you that it's probably not a coincidence. Anyway, the whole reason for this, again, guys, is not about creating YouTube drama. I'm not specifically trying to attack any YouTubers out there. What I am trying to do is dismantle this propaganda machine, which is the Chinese government. And because they're so sloppy, they have given me this information on a platter. And I'm not just going to sit back and not talk about it and not expose it. These guys doing all this propaganda for the Chinese government are doing it under the table. And so your average person who might come across their videos might think, well, this is a reasonable guy. He's got a good point. I like the fact that he's talking about this, and you might take it to heart. Meanwhile, what you're doing is swallowing propaganda that has been paid for by the Chinese Communist Party. Anyway, guys, unlike these immoral shills, stay awesome.